Daisy Ridley was all over the headlines back when the sequel trilogy for the Star Wars franchise was coming out. But is that all? Is she ever gonna come back to play as Rey? Here's what she had to say about it. In a recent interview, well, not exactly an interview, but more of a question that IMDb asked her while on the red carpet for her latest film, Sometimes I Think About Dying. The star was asked about returning to the role after playing the main character in the most recent Star Wars trilogy. Turns out the actress wouldn't mind returning to the franchise. She's super open to that possibility and would love to be given a chance to return. She said she was currently looking for more work, and if they did call her up, she would immediately say yes. But that's not all. She talked about some of the spin-offs the franchise has been putting out as well. Specifically, when asked about them by The Wrap, the actress talked about how recent spin-off shows, such as The Mandalorian, are super cool, and she thinks they're really exciting, even though she has not gotten around to watching them because of time constraints. They're incredible, and the work everyone has put into them has been even more amazing. So she's more than interested in the franchise itself, even though her role as Rey ended in 2019 with the release of The Rise of Skywalker, and she would love to be a part of it again. But in the meanwhile, she's also been working on some cool projects such as The Bubble, or the most recent of the bunch, Sometimes I Think About Dying, and even a film with Tom Holland that seemed like her next big break. Everyone out there thought that this would be the film that would make Ridley a big-name star again. The film was called Chaos Walking and was based on a famous sci-fi trilogy by Patrick Ness. Everyone was excited about it when it was first announced. Though that was back in 2011. After years of delays, things didn't look that good for it until both Ridley and Holland were signed on. But that didn't last too long either, and things again took a turn for the worse. What went wrong with it though?
Your safety.
Well, it finished filming in 2017 and didn't come out until 2021. So it felt and looked outdated. Keep in mind that this was before the pandemic hit the world, so delays in films just meant that it was going to be bad and something went wrong. And this one faced a delay that was almost a decade long.
I feel something.
You feel it?
So obviously it flopped pretty hard because of infinite reshoots, in which they tried to fix their mistakes but could not. Ultimately, it did a horrible job at the box office as well.
Peace and purpose.
Considering its budget was about $125 million, it only managed to gather up a mere $27 million at the box office. While some people thought the film was okay, most people did not like it, and it even has a mere 21% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. With that said, are there any future projects Ridley's interested in? According to a report by Sarah Wilson on Twitter, the actress is interested in playing someone in the Marvel Universe, specifically as a Spider-Woman in one of the Spider-Man Extended Universe films. The actress is down to switch it up with the franchises, and looks towards more roles that Disney has lined up, mainly in the MCU. Why Spider-Woman though? There are already rumors about her being considered for the role, which she had no idea about. But as soon as she found out about it, she said that she would love to be able to play the character. But there's still a huge chance for her to come back on screen as Rey, especially with the new Star Wars films that are reportedly being worked on by the co-creator of Lost and the showrunner of Watchmen, Damon Lindelof. While there's not a lot of information about the film yet, it's supposed to be a continuation of the Skywalker saga, taking place after its events. However, it still stays away from being a direct continuation. That said, it is a way for her to return, since Lindelof intends to bring back some of the characters from that saga into it as well. But that's not all. There are a few more ways she could come back. There are a bunch of new Star Wars films in the works at the moment, but some of the biggest of them include one from the director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson. This entire trilogy by him was first announced in 2017, and the director still claims that it's being worked on despite no new news coming out about the trilogy. In August of 2022, the director even updated fans that he's had some talks with the president of Lucasfilm, and the trilogy will come out. But one of the biggest problems that they're facing right now is scheduling and deciding when to work on the film and where it fits in the timeline. But that's not all. The director of Deadpool 3, Sean Levy, is also working on a project for the franchise, but there isn't any information about that either. He did come out to talk about how he doesn't like to get too attached to things he's interested in making, so that could explain some of the silence around the project.
For my family. They'll be back. One day.
Not just that, but he also reminded fans that most projects for the Star Wars franchise never really see the light of day, so it could just end up as another possibility. But he's gonna be doing his best to bring it to the big screen. There are a lot of opportunities for the character to return, but do fans even want Rey to return? One of the things that turned fans off from the character is simply that the character's parentage is so confused that she doesn't fit in anywhere. In Rise of Skywalker, you discover Rey is a descendant of the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, the big bad before Palpatine came around. It's all pretty exciting, especially since she confronts Palpatine about it and finds out that her father was a clone of him that ended up living his life as a junk dealer on Jakku and hid his daughter from him.
I need someone.
But soon after hiding her away, both of her parents are discovered by him and are killed by his assassin called Ochi. The films barely pay any attention to it, and her parents' ever-changing mystery is what enrages fans the most. Even Kylo Ren confirmed her parentage in The Last Jedi, but the trilogy never paid any attention to one of the most interesting things about the character.
I had a vision.
Later on, this became one of the biggest reasons why fans were divided about the character. But with her returning, could they finally fix this problem? Could you finally see Rey turn into a beloved character instead of the face of the biggest mistakes in the franchise? Moreover, what does Ridley think of this? She thinks it's not in her control and is way above her pay grade. Ultimately, it's just a job to her, and she can't do much about it, but that doesn't mean she doesn't love it.
I think I can handle myself.
You know how to use one of those?
Yeah, you pull the trigger.
But what she loves about the character is the message she can convey, that everyone can be anything, and it doesn't matter where you're from and only what you do in your own life. Your parents and heritage do not define you. You make yourself, something that makes me want to see the character redeemed. And that's all the current news about Ridley coming back to Star Wars. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
It wasn't your fault. Quiet, girl.
Really use your help. Please.
Stop taking my hand!
You need a teacher!
She is saying
I'd never felt so alone.